Hi, everyone. This is Divine. Thank you for tuning in. I wanted to go over the the subject of unconditional love again, but this time focusing on how to prioritize yourself and still um go towards the path of unconditional love. Um People seem to find contradicting that unconditional love can be attained while prioritizing yourself. So, from a egotistical, f- from a mind perspective, or ego perspective, it sounds a contradiction in itself. But again, on my last video, I talked about removing yourself from the equation. For me, that was step number one in getting closer to unconditional love, understanding unconditional love, which is being able to love and care without putting yourself in the situation. So, not making it about you. While you do need to prioritize yourself, when I say that, that means your self care, not your egotistical, selfish needs. So there are two different needs. So, when people say prioritize yourself and people hear it, if you're hearing it from egotistical ears, it's going to sound selfish because then the ego registers as your selfish needs. Or that's why people are judgmental. People are saying, you're telling people to be selfish. No one said be selfish. No one ever said that. But they do say selfish meaning your self care. So, and again, most people speaking highly negative about people who do internal work, they are very egotistical people. And many of those people happen to be churchgoers, fake Christians, fake religious people who use the fact that they go to church to want to get a label that they are spiritual people. But spirituality comes from your internal work, comes from your intimate relationship with God, the divine, and the Holy Spirit, right? So it has nothing to do with appearances. It has everything to do with your internal relationship, that you cultivate, very cultivated internal relationship with God, with divine, and with the Christ being. So when we say prioritize yourself, it means don't put your egotistical needs first. Prioritize your well-being, meaning whatever it is that you're doing in the physical reality, you need your body. So if you don't have a healthy body, you can't do the physical tasks. It's quite very simplistic and very logical. Um, so from a spiritual perspective, if you're going through your path, you have a physical life to live. You have to open up the path to spirituality and dabble, both. And as you open up to different layers of reality, you have to dabble everything all at once. That requires you to be very well, have very clear mind. It requires you to be very physically healthy. That requires a lot out of you. So when they say prioritize yourself, is prioritize your well-being. So you need to have a healthy body, a clear mind, um, clear cleared up your emotions, healed your emotions, so you're not emotionally unstable. So there are all these things you have to work on. So that requires your priority. For example, I dealt with my ex-husband who was he still is a narcissist, manipulative, conniving, evil person, who's still, abusing my children one way or another. And people like that, they will throw rocks at you for building an internal relationship with the divine. His mind is just go to church every Sunday. That is what you have to do. And I said, no, that is what you want to do. It's not what I want to do. I want to build my own relationship. I don't want to hear things from priests. And you don't even know if the priest's a pedophile or not, right? So a lot of people just wants to put a stamp on things. And then when you say no, they start throwing temper tantrums because they can't control you. So if you're dealing with the manipulative people around you, whether it be your partner, your family, your friends, cut them off. And so I stayed because of my children's safety. So I couldn't like just walk away like I mentioned my story in previous videos. I built boundaries. And you will see the more boundaries you build, the more temper tantrum this person used to throw. Like he was throwing temper tantrums because he wanted my attention. And I said, I'm prioritizing myself. And he's like, you're selfish. How dare you prioritize yourself? And this is how they respond, people around you. So this is also another good way to identify who doesn't belong in your life. I find this out very clearly. You can tell who doesn't belong in your life. When you say prioritize yourself and somebody cannot register what that means, they are it, completely one out of alignment. Two, they're not the kind of people you want in this kind of journey. You need support, not people throwing rocks in your path. It's like you're seeking peace in what you get. It's a psychopath, narcissist, sociopath, temper tantrum, diaper wearing adult, right? Who claims to be, oh God, because I go to church every Sunday, right? So you get the opposite of peace. So that's how you know not right for your journey. Obviously, that person never made it to my journey. Sadly, because my children are innocent, he's trying to take it out of my children just because he couldn't stop me from going on my journey with God. Mind you, such a Christian, Catholic, I go to church every Sunday, pretend person, right? So again, my problem with religion, anybody uses religion for the use of labeling, and that's why I'm against labeling. Um, Rather prefer authenticity and we seek authentic connections. It's way better. But so I just wanted to touch base because it seems like I don't know why people misunderstand. What does it mean to prioritize yourself? When you say that, they get mortified. I'm like, what? They're like, you be selfish. I'm like, excuse me? No. So that's how you know you're with the wrong person. Um, and prioritize your well-being, taking time to hear your emotions, taking time to meditate and refocus and internalize um your life internally because your subconscious remembering reminder to everybody's in the law of attraction trying to make movements with your conscious. Your subconscious is your biggest mover. It's the biggest part of you, not only in volumes but also in um resonance, vibration. It's the biggest vibration you have, attracting the things around you. It has the biggest influence. That's the word I was looking for. Your subconscious has the biggest influence in your life, in your attraction, into your magnetism, which goes into your heart. Because your subconscious is the unseen version of you. Your body's this pack, this thing you can feel, touch, but your subconscious is what maintains it, what directs it, what maneuvers it, and your mind is kind of like the driver. You're not the mind. The mind is a tool. The body is like a car, and your subconscious is like all this energy that surrounds you, that guides you, that vibrates that just is a signal calling all the things that your heart deeply desires and deeply wants, and that you don't even consciously know you want or you forgot you want it, but it's always there in the background. And it's your subconscious. So you're unconscious of it. And that's your biggest mover. So the way I see it, the best way to not only manifest in this physical reality, but also to alchemize this reality into a higher realm of reality. So making this reality less dense, less brutal, less painful, less suffering. Um, it takes you to guide and direct your subconscious. Okay. Now, question everybody has. How are you going to direct your subconscious if you're not conscious of it? And that's where meditation comes in. And that's where like sleep meditation also comes in. When you're sleeping, you're in the subconscious world. And that's where you want to guide it. That's where you guide your subconscious in your sleep. And then other ways that you can consciously guide your subconscious is through everyday background noise. So you can have peace and just be peace. Some people love that. You can just have like background affirmations constantly running because your background speaking up, your subconscious is speaking up on your background. You can have whatever is, you can have meditation music on the background that does meditation music, what it does, it triggers emotional response to the tune. So your emotions are giving off vibrations which your subconscious is absorbing, right? Your subconscious is always there, is the point. So since you know it's always there, you want to feed it. You want to feed whatever it is that you want for yourself. You want to do the job as consciously as possible. Um, and that's how you can consciously guide your subconscious. And you want to also focus on unconditional love because I know with the law of attraction, many people went a little bit how, because, it was new concept which works, but I just find it better. I mean, you evolve eventually, right? You evolve from such steps. And once I tapped into unconditional love, if you can learn how to become the frequency of love, of unconditional love, and just being it yourself, be the frequency of unconditional love as you go through your path. And there is a lot of trials. You just, do what works for you to get there. Um, it attracts things faster. You don't have to be playing the games of law of attraction. You don't have to be playing the mind games of substituting thoughts and etc. So I found that the fastest way, if you want to skip the learning curve, right, is to become unconditional love. Become the beam of unconditional love. So unconditional love is the frequency of one, healing. So you can not only provide healing to yourself and people around you, you just radiate that healing energy because you are unconditional love. Two, it just radiates like calmness around you. So if people are like on the aggressive side, they want to pick a fight with you, they usually won't do that near you. Um, Three, um, it just emanates this beam. It's the strongest vibration and it's the highest vibration. So things will come in faster and they'll come in strongly. So there will be intensity and speed in your manifestation. So instead of doing, I mean, obviously, when you don't know anything about the unknown, doing the law of attraction games, and it's fun because it's new, it's in the beginning, but for the purpose of alchemizing this world, I mean, remember, when you're beaming unconditional love, you're also alchemizing all the craziness that we have going on, all these wars, all these petty fights, all this corruption, people fighting each other, backstabbing each other for like a couple of grand. That's how bad things are here. Um, it's crazy, right? And sometimes they'll backstab each other, not even for money, just for looking good. Like, am I gonna fit into this group? If the group looks like a group that could give you a better job, that's just how bad things are, how poor our population is. So when you're just a beam of unconditional love, one, you're not joining in those people that are hateful, in spirit, poor in heart, petty people, evil people, manipulative people, narcissists, psychopaths, all demon possessed people, all those, you wouldn't be one of those, one. And two, you can alchemize their dark energy as well. And obviously, you can do that from far away. You don't have to put yourself in a position where you're near them all the time. That's why in my journey, I was inspired to leave where I was because there was just too many of them and I was the only one. So, you can still heal from far away. You send them healing, you send them, I hope you find God some way, somehow, and leave my children alone, and leave me alone. So, by becoming that beam of unconditional love, you do so much for this time space reality, but you also do so much for yourself. So it's what I found to be the eat your cake and get your cherry and eat everything too. I think I butchered that. I'm sorry. But you understood. It's how you get everything. You yourself get everything, but also you do a service to the world at the same time. So if in a journey, if you're seeking to maximize on what we can do so far in my journey, I found that becoming unconditional of itself is is the best because it gives you the things you want and it gives the people around you the things they want and it heals the world and you can transmute the pain of the world into love and unconditional love and healing earth itself and also healing society and etc. So I wanted to touch base on that. I also continuing from my last video, the power of unconditional love. And it starts with removing yourself from the equation. When I say removing yourself from the equation, it's removing your egotistical self from because you're not your ego, but your ego, depending where you are when you're beginning, your ego thinks it's everything, including you. So if your ego hasn't surrendered to your spirit yet, there's going to be that internal regulation you have to do between, your evil self, your emotional self, your spiritual self, your mental self, etc. But in your path, my recommendation will be to focus on the path of unconditional love. And people think unconditional love like the love of a mother and a child, which it is truly unconditional. At least in my case, it is. Cannot speak for others. But it's an example. When you tune into the divine loves you, or God, there's what they say about in Christian, I think they cover this. If you truly, genuinely repent to God, God will receive you with open arms no matter what. So it's kind of like that. That is unconditional love. So the divine, if you're genuine, that's why I say open up your heart and try to have a genuine relationship with the unknown, with the divine, with the universe, whatever you want to call it. Um, it's unconditional. It's the unseen, the universe, God, divine is always waiting for you to knock on their door, and the door will open wide open because they're dying to bring heaven on earth here. But we must choose it, like all of us. We must alchemize it, we must choose it, we must bring it. We must all want it, heaven on earth for all of us. And that doesn't mean that means what it means, heaven on earth for all of us. And most people, when we say we want heaven on earth, it doesn't mean we want to kill a bunch of people, even though some people do deserve to that. I'm going to let that be a decision for for someone higher up than me. But even though I do recommend that some should mysteriously disappear, yes, absolutely, you'll help the world. So many people are holding us back by being a beam of darkness in this world that we can't take it to the next level. So for that, I say this, my part, that yes, I do. If anybody's hearing my recommendations, I would recommend certain people would just disappear because they are holding back too much and they have no genuine um interest in making things better. Quite the opposite. They actually have a very genuine interest in making things worse. So, that tells you they don't have, they're just evil. I don't know how to explain to people. Some people, they refuse to believe that evil exists. I don't know how, then why they will think that. But some people cannot surrender their ego. Some people's ego are just too um inflated. Yeah, I think it's beyond inflated egos even because I've seen inflated egos. They're not evil. When I mean evil. Like, for example, my case, willing to hurt children because you couldn't get whatever they wanted out of me, an adult. So they go for my children. That's evil because children are innocent. They're innocent seeds in this world. You don't touch evil. Um, in terms of what's happening, in other areas, some people target children knowingly they're targeting children, and that's evil. And that's them virtual signaling on who they serve. They serve evil. Anyone who um tries to explain their way through why children need to be hurt, abused, and killed, murdered, uh, they're serving evil. And sadly, I wish I didn't live in a world like this. I wish our world wasn't like this, as a matter of fact. Um, this is not the world I wish for, but this is the world we have. And so, for the ones who are willing to do the work and who are willing to surrender their ego or attempt the path of internal enlightenment, what they call, um, please try to focus on becoming a beam of light of unconditional love, to constantly radiate that, not only for yourself, but also for the rest of the world, because it's much needed. Um, and that's what I wanted to touch on. Also, doing the unconditional love and being the beam of unconditional love. If you have any negative cords, toxic cords from your past that you may have, you cut them off. So, a lot of people go through the process of cord cutting and stuff. It's if you start following all these little processes, the law of attraction games, the mind games, and becomes too much. So again, sharing cheat codes that I found, it's just the fastest and the most high vibrational, high density, high vibration way of getting all done at once is becoming unconditional love itself. And then you have to maintain the vibration, obviously. And then that's the maintenance part. But cutting cord is also easy because you don't have to do the process of cutting cord. You can just beam the unconditional love frequency that you are and beam it out of you. And anything that doesn't resonate with that will naturally fall off. So, for cheat codes, again, this is the best, fastest, most intense, most complete way I found, and it's always focused on love. So, going back to my previous video, people out there, no, you need pain, you need to suffer to grow. I'm sorry, no. They're still not there yet. And I recommend, if you're not there yet, Buddhism, some Zen teachings, so they could learn to detach from this physical reality for a little while until they can tap into that. Once you tap into unconditional love, you will understand you need nothing else but unconditional love. Um, and that's not very sophisticated, but it's true. It's old and it's true. Um, so I'm gonna finish today with something I wrote. This is from around 2005, so from last year. Sadness is like a drug I stopped taking. But sadness finds its way, and now I feel forsaken. It is here with me, here right now. It wants to come back in, but I will not allow. Happiness was so much better. Why did it have to end? I have countless nights in sorrows and this sadness that never ends. Why is this life rigged for sadness? Why not rigged for goodness? What is the purpose of so much darkness when the world could be so beautiful? No one seems to care. It all seems so lost. I'm starting to wonder if it is worth the cause. The haters come around begging me to quit, not sure why and how it matters, but they want me to not believe. And I'll do another one also from 2005. My life was so great. It was almost complete. But then the haters won and took it all from me. They succeeded, and now I stand here, all alone and lost, a soul without a cause. Why do they still follow me to watch my defeat? They already won, so why still compete? What is the competition for? Who can fuck who more? I don't understand this world. It's too fucked up to support. They treat life like a sport. Only competition matters. But at the end of their lives, they don't really matter. So what it is all for? Why play life? Because they need to learn. It is not a game. It is an understanding. And that's it. I'll leave you with this and thank you for stopping by. If you want to support my channel, my Venmo Cash App is at Divine123, same name as my YouTube channel and the same picture as my YouTube channel. And thank you for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one.